KleverStock. You're with me, One Izul Islam, and today we've got a new segment for you, which is Rich or Regret. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this segment. We've got, as you can see, 3 hosts here at the table where we're going to be debating on topics that are going to basically be a lot, meaningful to everyone. Everyone will relate to these topics, and we're going to debate about them and see, okay, who is in the right and who is in the wrong. And these topics, they have financial interests behind them. They are going to make you wonder if you're going to be rich or you're going to regret it. There's some decisions that you guys need to make that are appropriate when it comes to finances, markets, even everyday things that we do on a daily basis. So for today's topic, all right, it's an interesting one. It's something that we've had a lot of discussion in the office, which is whether you want to go out for lunch with your colleagues or you bring a lunchbox from home, all right? So we've had this argument a lot of times in the office right before we go out for lunch. And we've got Pavitra here on my right who believes that it's better, it's more financially stable to bring a lunchbox from home. And then we've got Hikmah on my left here who thinks having a meal outside during lunchtime with your colleagues is the more appropriate way to go about it. So before we go further, I'm going to give them a chance to first introduce themselves to the audience and introduce what they are backing and why. Just simple, straightforward. We'll start with Pavitra. So Pavi, introduce yourself and let us know why you think that bringing a lunchbox from home is the more economical decision.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Pavitra and I'm on Team Bekal, lunchbox in English. And it's just not about convenience. A part of that, I think it's a great investment when it comes to your health, budgeting, and also overall well-being. There's more to it, but we can discuss on that later.
Alright, thank you so much Pavitra from Team Bekal. And now we've got Hikmah who is on Team Eating Out. Hikmah, do introduce yourself and why you choose to eat out instead of bringing a lunchbox from home.
Hi, I'm Hikmah. Thank you, Juan, for a good intro. But for me, I do believe that eating out is more actually economical if you know how to do it, and it's more efficient compared to having a bekal and preparing your meal every single day. Because once you decide to or prefer to going out instead of bekal, it provides you a lot of variety. Actually, you can have more food options. Because as we know, we tend to get bored eating the same meal over and over again repeatedly. So having a variety of food can give you a boost and also help you to be more maybe motivated of work, can be, and also improve your efficiency of working.
Okay, thank you ladies for the wonderful introduction. So 2 very different topics, 2 different sides of this topic, and both with very similar viewpoints when it comes to efficiency, when it comes to pricing or economy, as well as when it comes to maybe the variety of it all. So we're going to be juggling through that now, and I'll be asking them some questions, and they'll both have to answer in their opinion from the questions that are asked and try to make their case. And towards the end of this segment, we're going to be asking you, the audience, which side are you guys going to be on after they've made their compelling arguments? Okay, so we're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll start with the question and answer section for Rich or Regret. Welcome back to KleverStock. We're here on Rich or Regret. Our topic for today is bringing a lunchbox from home versus that of eating out during lunch when you're at work. So, they've already introduced themselves and they've introduced a little bit of the top talking points that they'll be discussing now. My first question that is going to be laid out on the table is, economically, which side do you think is more financially savvy in terms of whether it is bringing a lunchbox to work or is eating out? Is it more friendlier on the wallet? Let's start with Pavitra. Pavi, what do you think? Is it more economically friendly to bring a lunchbox from home? And then we will move to Hikmah to counter your argument. Let's go.
Okay, so I believe that it's more friendlier to our wallet to bring our lunchbox, especially it can be any day. Let's give it a scenario like towards the end of the month. Like a person like me, how I do it is I budget my groceries about 150 to 200 per month, and I get that covered for the entire month. And it's also based on my personalization. So every day I have something to eat, but I bring bekal. So there are times where there's a delay of salary, or you can dry run and whatever not. These are the times that you can make your meals and bring it here, and you don't have to worry about anything further like, oh, I'm drying run today and I don't know what to eat for lunch, or should I just stay at office and just say like, oh, I'm not joining today, guys.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a good point that you bring out. When you buy groceries for the entire month, you save up a lot from having to eat out. But Hikmah, what do you have to say with regards to responding to what Pavitra is saying about this?
That's interesting topic, and I like the fact that you mentioned a budget. I think it's the key here is budgeting. For example, daily, how much do you spend actually for a lunch? Let's say you're given your budget like 20 ringgit per day, right? In a 5 day of spend, how much that will accumulate? It will be 100. So that cost will be equates to the amount that you spend to buy your grocery shopping. So it's kind of similar, and it has the good financial impact as well here, as long as you know how to budget and you stick within that 20 ringgit price of meal. And here, of course, everywhere out there, we can find a lot of options. Of course, we have some other expensive options, but we do have cheaper options like warung, like mama, and all those local businesses. And we can go, instead of spending, that's how the budget should go. Just stick to your budget, and the amount should be almost the same with you preparing meal within a week.
Okay, so when it comes to eating out or bringing a lunchbox to work, it all depends on how to budget it properly. If you know how to budget it and you stick to that budget, then economically it can both be a friendlier option for your wallet. Now my next question, or still on the topic of economy, is what if you do not stick to your budget, or both sides? What if you cannot stick to your budget, or there are things that are being spent on that are out of your control? For example, when you buy groceries, sometimes you might buy a little too much, or you need to buy extra groceries later on towards the month. How do you combat that, or how do you fix that issue? And also when you're eating out, sometimes you can't stick to that 20 ringgit budget. There are days where your colleagues want to go out and eat or spend a little much, or treat themselves. So my question to you ladies is, what happens when the budget is overrun? What do you do next?
Okay, Wan and Hikmah, I think buying too much of groceries is a good win. Okay, because you can get your breakfast covered, you can get your lunch covered, your munchies after work and whatever not. Okay, and when Hikmah said that she set a budget aside for lunch alone, I'm sure she wants to have something for her breakfast, her munchies and whatever not. And how about that? And also you said, what if we are being manipulated by our colleagues? Like, hey, today can we just go to TGI Fridays?
Wow,
Yes.
manipulation, that's a strong
I know
word.
I can't get a TGI Fridays in my lunchbox, but I know that, I'm bringing something that what I want and what I like.
Okay.
So that's how I think about that.
Okay, so it's a win-win even if you overspend your
Oh,
budget
yes.
on groceries. Okay, that's
It
a
can,
good point.
it could go to waste, but how you leverage it, like, okay, maybe this can be used for this and this. Yeah.
Okay, so what you do with your groceries defines whether it goes to waste or it becomes a win.
Correct.
for
I think
you.
that's on you
Okay.
completely.
What about you, Hikmah? When it comes to budgeting and sometimes overspending on that budget, I know a lot of people, they like to go to these fancy restaurants or they
Yes.
like to treat themselves on certain days. So how do you combat, or how do you make up for overspending on one day and still stick to that budget so that it can be economically friendly for you throughout the month?
This is very tricky question, and I think all of us are guilty of this. We stick a budget, we put a budget, but never really stick to it. But for me, the way I do it is whenever I exceeded my budget, I will make up for the next following days. For example, if I happen to buy like 20 plus ringgit, spend more than 20 ringgit for lunch, right? Then the next day, I will try my best to cut and make up for the remaining amount that I already spent. So that way, I will still keep within my budget as a weekly budget. So I think that's one way to do it, as long as you don't really overspend or overstretch yourself. And yeah, I think that's one way that I usually go for.
Okay, so similar to that of buying too many groceries, if you spend too much eating out, you can always make it up on the following day.
But does this help in the long run? Towards the end of the
That
month.
one, we will have to wait and see and find out later. So now, okay, we've put down the topic of economy. So now we're going to be moving on to the next topic or the next conversation talking point, which is that of team camaraderie or team spirit. All right, the whole topic or the whole argument that came about is having lunch with your team outside or sitting alone in the office and having your packed lunch or your lunch box. All right, so this is going to be the next talking point, which is, okay, why is it important for you to go out to eat with your colleagues? And we're going to have Hikmah start off this talking point and argue why it's important to eat out with your colleagues.
I think, of course, as a team, right, we're working as a team, and understanding your colleague or having a good relationship with them is really, really important, because you want to work together. And one way is, I think we should go for eating together, like spending time and getting to know each other through the meal. People say like meal can enhance the bond between people, and that way we know what's their interests, what food they like, for example, what kind of person they are, and eventually we will get closer to a more frequent spending time together and getting to know each other better. So I think going out is one of the way that, because once in the office you are very busy and very packed with your workload, right? You don't really have time to talk. So lunch break is the only time for you to have a good and spend time together.
It's the time of day where things can be let loose.
Yeah,
you get
let loose and be easy.
de-stress. You get to enjoy yourself and the company of others. So, Pavitra, what do you have to say in response to Hikmah's argument that we need to go out with our colleagues to have that kind of team spirit, that bonding experience with them, instead of sitting and having a lunchbox by yourself?
Okay. I do like the idea of going out and having fun with your colleagues during lunch and all that, but let's get rid of this thought in our mind that bringing our lunchbox, bekal, we can't foster a relationship with our colleagues. How? We can take our bekal out with our colleagues, let them have their meals, and a person like me, maybe I can have my meals, and maybe on my lazy days I want to stay. And that doesn't mean that one day would impact the fostering relationships. And a part of that, I can even foster my relationship better by cooking for them. You know, that's the key to anyone's heart.
That is a good point indeed. So, are we expecting some cooked meals from Pavitra soon?
Yes,
Every Friday
let me know when
feast.
you guys, drying run.
Okay.
I'll bring it. Okay, that's when they will
That's a
appreciate
promise.
my bekal moments.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so that is a good point indeed as well. I mean, just because you bring a lunchbox doesn't mean you're going to be antisocial, sit by yourself.
Yeah.
Pavitra does make the point that she can always bring the lunchbox with her colleagues to eat out, even though sometimes she wants to have a lazy day and stay in the office and just have her meal to herself. It doesn't, the stigma of bringing a lunchbox is not just, oh, I'm not going to join you guys, right?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. That's fine. now we're going to be moving on to our next talking point, all right? Which is that of the variety of food available, okay? Both of you in your introductions mentioned that there is a variety of food, all right? And that is the most important thing. When we go out for lunch, we want to have this variety available to us. We want to make sure that when we eat, we're not eating just out of necessity.
Necessity, yes.
Yeah, we want to eat and enjoy our lunch, you know? And when it comes to variety, both of you say there is a variety, so both of you need to make the point which variety is the better variety. So let's start with Pavitra. Tell me, in terms of variety, how can you provide variety for a lunchbox, and why do you think it's better than eating out?
Okay. Obviously, taking out, we'll be open to a lot of varieties like mee curry, wonton mee, and all that stuff. And it's quite intricate if you want to bring bekal. But a person like me who takes bekal from home, it's purely based on my my needs and wants. You know, based on my diet and my preference. And if I were to have like, you know, if I have the feel to have like wonton mee and whatever not, I can do it on other days. But I'm more like a person where I just want to cut the queue, and you know, for example, today I feel like having this, so that's when I make it one day before or on that day and bring it for myself. So obviously I'm not bringing something that I don't want to eat. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, so the variety is not as important to you. You can still have it any other day.
Yes, any other day.
But,
correct, exactly.
It's based on your needs and
wants.
Okay. What about you, Hikmah? Why do you think it's important to have variety when it comes to your lunch?
For me, variety is really one of the things that I look for when it comes to meals, because I love to experiment or trying various type of meal, because the only time that I'm out is during lunch. Because once I'm dinner, I'm like very late. I'm already reaching home, and that time I already feel I don't want to eat as much. So during lunchtime is the one way that I explore very more options of food and everything. But it can be hard as well, because it's also depending to where your workplace is. Sometimes the area they don't have much option, and that's why you have to bring your own food maybe. But then maybe one way is we can ask for recommendation from our colleagues, like to have that more variety. Okay, someone come up with one idea. Where should we go eat today? We can go far other places. It doesn't have to be just nearby the office.
That might be a bit risky though, but if you can get it done, that's a win. Yeah.
Okay, so on the point of variety, we do have interesting points coming from both sides. So it's still, I would say, quite even on this playing field right now. Whether it is better to have a lunchbox or better to go eat out. So what do you think is going to bring out the smoking gun, as people would say, to this argument or to this debate? Whether you will be rich or regret it? My next talking point is health. Health-wise, when it comes to packing your own lunch or when it comes to eating out, which is the healthier option? All right? Yes, most of the time the Malaysians among us, we go and eat out. We don't really count the calories. We don't really know what we're going to be putting in to our body. When it comes to packing your lunch, you know what you're cooking, you know what is needed, or you know based on your needs and wants.
Correct.
So let's start with Hikmah.
Okay.
All right. How do you argue this point when it comes to healthy choices, eating out? Most of the time, it's not really available.
Yeah.
And compared to that of a lunchbox, eating out may be the option that is less healthy. How do you combat, or how do you argue that point?
Okay, this is interesting, but I think the key here is research, do a quick of research. What are the restaurants available near you, and what are the menu that they are offering? And then look into the menu and finding the best healthier options there. And I believe all restaurants right now, they are quite aware that there are a lot of I mean, there are many type of consumer, right? There are those who like to eat healthier option, more veggie, more protein. So that is where you need to research all these restaurants first. What are menu they're giving out? So if you already know, then just stick to that restaurant, and you can maybe that's help you keep your healthy routine. Yeah.
Now, Pavi, I leave the floor to you. How can you? It's not up to us. It's up
Yes.
to the audience. So how can you? How can I say? How can you tell the audience, or what's the word? What's the word when you want to attract the audience? How can you make them believe that having a lunchbox or packing lunch from home is the healthier option, is the way to go? Try and make them see if it's possible or not.
Okay, so viewers, 9 to 5 job is already stressful. So why do we need to have the hassle during lunchtime thinking where to go, whether this place gives healthier options, vegan options, yada yada yada. And if you are bringing lunchbox from your house, you have power, you have control over the ingredients. Yeah, basically that.
Okay, power over your
What about
ingredients.
sometimes the ingredient can be a bit, you don't know. Okay, you maybe the supermarket says, okay, this is a healthy or safe ingredient, but we don't know what they're using. They can use pesticide.
But that's
also.
exactly what is being used at
restaurants?
restaurants as well. Ha.
Okay. Before we go through an all-out war
Okay.
here, all right, I think we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the closing remarks from both our debaters today, as well as my closing remarks, to see which is the more which is the more which option is more viable in my opinion. Okay. So we're going to go for a short break, and after this we're going to be having the closing remarks from both our debaters, and I'll also give my thoughts and opinions on which option, whether it is packing a lunch from home or whether it is eating out with your teammates or your colleagues, and which option is more viable in my opinion. But then you, the audience, will have to decide which you think is the more, how can I say, easier way to go about it.
Game on.
Welcome back to Rich or Regret with me, Wanizul Islam. We have Pavitra here as well as Hikmah. We had a very interesting topic today, which is that of lunchtime at work. Whether you bring a lunchbox to work and eat by yourself, or whether you go out and have lunch with your teammates at a restaurant or at a dining facility. So they argued on a couple of points earlier, which is that of economical, which were team camaraderie, which is, you know, the bond between teams. We also talked about whether it is the healthier option and also the variety of food. So based on those four topics, we come now to our closing remarks. All right, our final standoff, the final point, the final say between these two debaters. But before we get to their final points, let me give my closing remarks. I think, in my personal opinion, that both have merits. Eating out, spending time with your team, of course, you need to do that. But you can also pack a lunch from home, because on a healthier option, yes, it is the healthier choice sometimes, because you get to know how much you put in and what ingredients you're using. And sometimes, yes, economically, at the end of the month, sometimes, yeah, we don't really have much. So we need that financial option available to us. But there's always an option to do both. Some days you can eat your lunch with your team. Some days you can pack a lunchbox. So you're not limited to having, you know, just that one option between the two options. So in my opinion, I think you can do both. All right, I'm still in between, so I'm not biased to any one of the facts, but I think our audience will definitely have their own personal opinions with regards to this topic. A very interesting topic, an interesting debate in terms of it's a debate we have every day. before we go to lunch. Whether we want to go out, where we want to go out to eat, as well as whether we want to just stay in and have a packed lunch. So, now, let us begin our final remarks, our final points. Pavi, what do you have to say in terms of this topic?
So, in conclusion, viewers, I still have fostered relationship with my colleagues. I'm healthy and I get to save money as well. So, if you think I'm a great example, I would also encourage you to follow this lead and let us know later how that feels.
Hikmah, what about you?
So again, I still believe that eating out is much more can be financially viable, as well as good for your mental health and also relationship with the colleague, as long as you still stick within your budget and don't go beyond and spend too much. That's the key. And of course, you can cook as well, like at home or weekends. But let's just save cooking for the weekends, right? Because we are already too busy working. So no one has time to think about what to cook every day. And with taking out restaurant is easy out there. We have so much accessible option. We have food grab. We have everywhere, right? So eating out is much more convenient and also save you a lot of headache.
All right, thank you so much, ladies, for debating on this interesting topic today. We hope you guys had fun. We hope you guys brought out some really good points. And I think that is all for this segment of Rich or Regret. Before we go, we just want to thank the audience for joining us for this topic, and we want to ask you to comment down below as well as give your thoughts and opinions on this matter, whether you guys like to pack your lunches or do you want to go out to eat with your colleagues. It's up to you to decide who or which standpoint is the better or viable option, and whether whether this option makes you regret it or will it make you rich. And that's all from myself, Wanizul Islam, right here on KleverStock for Rich or Regret. Thank you again, Pavitra, as well as Hikmah, for joining.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys again next time for the next topic on Rich or Regret.
Scan now and download KleverStock, your trusted source for market insights.